This is a very interesting topic with respect to the implication or the usage of Bhagavad Gita in the administration or in the administrative ethics. In the sense, for example, recently the Gujarat government announced that the Bhagavad Gita will be a part of the school syllabus for class 6 to class 12 across the state for the academic year of 2022 and 2023. So Gujarat government has announced Bhagavad Gita to be a part of the school syllabus. The knowledge imparted by Bhagavad Gita goes beyond religious connotation. So Bhagavad Gita is basically giving us an information. Bhagavad Gita is giving us some knowledge which is beyond religious connotations. It's all about the way of life. So it discusses issues ranging from values essential for life to resolution of complex ethical conundrums, and etc. So the principles and the ideas of ethical conduct propagated by this scripture are useful not only for the school education but also in other areas such as business ethics, medical ethics, etc. So the domain of its applicability also includes administrative ethics, providing guidance to systems and administrators alike. Now, what are the things, what are the principles or issues in administrative ethics? So, public administration, the cornerstone of government's work, plays an essential and critical role in the effective governance for improving people's life. So, if you want to have an improved life for the citizens, the government services, the public administration has to be, it has to be very good and it has to be very effective. And to make it a very effective or effective governance, public administration needs to work very efficiently, and that can be done only through proper that can be done only when the administration runs on an ethical note. The administration runs on the basis of some ethics, some principles, some moral values. Now, to achieve effective governance from public administration, public administrative institutions, it is important that they meet 11 effective governance principles. 11 principles of effective governance. Number one, you can see the list here: competence, sound policymaking, collaboration, integrity, transparency, and independent oversight, and leaving no one behind, non discrimination, participation, subsidiarity, and intergenerational equity. So, these are the 11 principles that you need to understand to enhance and ensure effectiveness, accountability, and inclusiveness in the governance, or to ensure it has to be an effective governance. So, these are the 11 principles. Now, Indian administration suffers from number of issues such as corruption, lack of objectivity in decision making. Now, due to the political interference and the continuity of the Hegelian perspective, that is they represent the universal interest of the society. Ineffective leadership or poor supervision from higher authorities in ensuring a follow up of constitutional values. So, there is an ineffective leadership. The objective of decision making is almost like a political agenda. The political interference is continuously there in the policy making process. So bureaucratization is nothing but is an example or a phenomenon that characterizes the slowness, the complications in the procedure, the preponderousness. So these are all our political interferences. All right. Now, next is lack of accessibility. Lack of accessibility and responsiveness as an authority is seen as a status of ruler rather than one in public services. So the ruler, if the ruler is not responsive, if the people of the country cannot reach to the ruler to express their thoughts, then that accessibility and the responsive factor, if these two things are missing, then we are not under a public servant, or we are not under a rule. We are under a ruler which is absolutely beyond our access, and therefore we cannot expect a kind of a responsiveness from his part. Which leads to the next point, that is transparency and accountability issues. Now, how can the teachings of Gita inculcate certain values in the administrative ethics? The importance of actions or integrity in the actions. Say, for example, detached involvement. For example, nishkamma karma. Nishkamma karma. You just work. You do not expect anything out of that. कर्म करते जाओ, फल की इच्छा मत करो. निष्काम कर्म, sakama karma, selfless action. All these things put in together leads to the integrity in action. And this integrity in action is one of the important core principles mentioned in ethics, important core principles mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. And if we can inculcate the same in the administrative ethics, then certainly we can ensure effectiveness, accountability, and inclusive governance. Second, when it comes to decision making, we have to have an objectivity in making any decisions. And the objective should be always the lok samagra, that is, the benefit of all, or a kind of a universal welfare. It has to be inclusive and sustainable. So whenever the government should be, interfering in the policy making, or whenever the government is making some decision or about to take some decision, there has to be a benchmark that the decisions or the policies which are about to come has to have a universal welfare approach, has to have an effect which will be inclusive and sustainable, which will be inclusive, and it has to be on the basis of sustainable development. Now, leadership development. Bhagavad Gita stresses the performance of swadharma, that is, own duty or dharma. So basically, leaders should perform their duty in a very righteous manner. They should not be subordinate to anyone. Now, that is there when a leader owns his duty, the leader understands the importance of dharma, and he follows the principle of dharma. He follows the path of action, something which the Gita is always stressing upon, the performance of swadharma. This is not only going to ensure an effective rule, but also it will ensure the development of leadership. Now, when it comes to motivation, the studies have highlighted that most of the reasons behind work-related stress are related to mind, such as pressure of performance, the relationship, media, pressure, etc. Now, Bhagavad Gita focuses on the mind and distinguishes between subconscious and conscious actions to promote the sattva or the divinity in all. Now, how can teaching of Bhagavad Gita help to uphold these qualities? Number one, according to Paul Appleby, highlighted some of the important qualities of good administration, such as a good listener. You have to be a good listener to become a good administrator. Why? Because you need to understand the aspirations, the problems, the areas that you need to focus on. Apart from that, a strong bent towards action. So you need to work more. Willingness to assume responsibility. You need to take decision. You need to assume decision. You need to assume responsibility. In the sense that whatever is going on, you have to have the guts to take responsibility for that. Now, emotional intelligence, absolutely important, because it will help you in the administration to acquire equanimity and calmness with firm resolve. Now, resolution of ethical dilemma. There are many situations wherein an administrator or a ruler, comes across to a crossroad of an ethical dilemma, where his self-interest is always, countered with a public benefit. Now, whenever you are working on the lines and the principles of nishkamma karma, then you do not have a self-interest anymore. So ethical dilemmas can be tackled only with nishkamma karma. Just selfless action will lead to public benefit, and this is how you can actually destroy the ethical dilemmas. Finally, compassion, karuna. It is basically sattva, the purification of mind, which helps a building of a compassionate society. You need to overcome all the prejudices through your clarity of mind, motivation to use official power to resolve problems of people. You need to be compassionate, because compassion teaches us two important aspects of life. One is gravity, and the second is empathizing others' problem, empathy. So whenever you are understanding the problem of the other person from their perspective, that is something which is very important as an administration, and that can come only through the inculcation of the value of karuna, compassion, the purification of mind. And all these things are mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. So I believe you have understood the issue here, the importance of Bhagavad Gita, the learnings of Bhagavad Gita, and the implication of Bhagavad Gita in the administrative ethics. Now the question may come as to how a public school can be used to promote a Hindu text. This is a blatant violation of Article 16 and 25, 26, 27. The answer would be, this is neither hampering equality, this is not hampering the religious or secular values in the constitution, because the government is not using Bhagavad Gita as something of a religious text. It is beyond a religious text, it is beyond religious connotation. It is considered by the government as a book or as a document which is basically talking about as to a way of life. This is a debatable issue, but you have to be prepared as to which aspect is more appealing to you, and you have to write as per your opinion. So the question on this I will be sending just after this video has been uploaded. Thank you.